All right, all right. We are back. It is week 6. Pay for play in the motherfucking house. It is your boy Roddy here back again with our guy Sam. Excited for another week of college football. We're almost kind of at the halfway point. It's already been 6 weeks, and again, like it just goes by too quick. No matter if we get a couple of extra weeks, we want it to last forever because we got to wait longer for it than it lasts. So it's natural to feel that way. But Sam, starting with you, brother, how you feeling? How you doing? Bye week.
Bye week, stress-free football Saturday. We love that. Get to
Yes.
kick back, watch some games, not really stressing. It's the perfect time of year. Like we have football every day until I think the day before Thanksgiving. Right now,
Ooh,
we got postseason baseball in full swing. It's
yes,
hoodie
sir.
and shorts weather here, which is my favorite weather of the
Ooh,
year. Oh my God! Sat around a fire last night. Had some
ooh.
moonshine on the rocks. Oh man, just
Oh, like a country boy. There we
yeah.
go.
I mean, it was the fruity moonshine, like the apple pie stuff. So it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
anything. It wasn't anything real deal, but it was a lot of fun. It's a perfect Saturday to get your honeydews in. That's for sure. And before these next 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks are looking good, and this is just the calm before the storm.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. The slate this week, again, like we've had a decent amount of slates. I can understand, where you're coming from with that, but don't worry about it. All right. You know what I'm saying? If you're locked in with us at Pay for Play, there's still money to be made. There's still opportunities. There's a couple of good matchups that I'm looking forward to. So we'll definitely get into those today. Um, we have to start how we usually start every single week with the review of, week 5. I'll let you go first, Sam. Just obviously, there was only one game that everybody was talking about. They're still talking about it. They'll probably be talking about it until the end of the season, until a champion is determined. So, from your perspective, what was that game like for you when you were watching that first half? Like, just give me all the emotions you can.
Incredible game. Obviously didn't start out the way a Georgia moneyline better would want it to. Um, obviously, I know you were probably even worse off after that start. I don't know, man. The fact that they just came out and did the same exact shit that they did to y'all in the SC championship game in the entire first half, and you just let it happen. I was down Kirby. I was down bad on him. We were going back and forth in our group chat with Sosa. We were all, I mean, it was a bad start. It wasn't a good look. It was Carson Beck. It looked like a deer in the headlights after the first quarter and a half. Um, just was not good, was not crisp, was not what you wanted to see from the guy that is being talked about as a potential Heisman winner, a potential top quarterback in the draft. It's okay to look. I mean, you can look good against all the shitty teams that y'all play. I know it's fine and dandy then, but whenever you got to go on the road to Bama, that's when you want those guys to step up, and he did not. And I mean, I don't think Alabama took their foot off the gas like a lot of people are saying. I do think Georgia kind of figured something out, and I feel like you all are kind of licking your chops for another chance after that defensive effort in the second half. So, um, incredible play by the 17-year-old. We were joking all day about how many times it's going to be mentioned he's 17, but fucking A, if you can do that at 17, more props to you. I mean, that kid, it's electric what he does. And the fact that he's going to be crisply 20 at the time of the draft, whenever he comes out, he's doing stuff like changing his profile picture to Michael Vick after the game and stuff, got to kill everybody on the eye tape. I mean, take him 1-1. That dude is legit.
Yeah. I look, I cannot hold you. Of course, like you said, we were making fun of he's only 17. He's only 17. Like, we get it, but we see why it's mentioned so much. Like, a kid that young, a kid that's supposed to be what? I was 17 and I was a junior in high school. Okay. So a kid that's supposed to be a junior in high school doing stuff like that, not only to probably the best defense in the country, but on a national stage. I mean, everything was on the line in that game. I know it's early in the season. I get it's week 5, but I mean, it was a lot of implications for that football game. So I can't say nothing bad
And
about Ryan Williams.
yeah, I'll add. I do love his mentality is incredible. Like being that young and being able to recognize like stuff like and saying having quotes like a play is going to be made. Why not let it be me? Like that dude, he's a dog. He's going to be incredible. Like I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but it's starting to look like it could go down as the best Bama receiver we've seen, especially with the Boars offense. Like he's going to put up numbers for the next couple of years, and
Mhm.
if he's already doing this as a freshman at 17, it's it's not there yet, but I think it could be possible by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, like imagine when he can vote next year. Like imagine when, like you said, he's 20 and he's
I'm
getting his
terrified watching that. I'm terrified. We have
Mhm.
nothing for that. We have nothing for that.
Yeah, exactly. So all props and shouts out to Ryan Williams. He had an incredible game. Really saved them, if we're gonna be honest, because we had the momentum pretty much going in late third quarter and then most of the fourth quarter. So definitely saved them. But if I'm going to my analysis of the game, I know a lot of people are on Carson, and he did not have a good game. I don't think anyone watching that or who is new to football had to do much mathematics to see that he did not have a good game. But I was reviewing the tape. I know we don't have all 22 in college football yet, but there was a lot of mistakes that everyone made. On the first interception, he audibles to the right play. The receivers don't run the right route. Alabama gets the ball first in the game, comes down, scores a touchdown. Carson puts a ball right on the money to Arian Smith that would have put him on like the 5-yard line to respond, and he drops the ball. So Georgia lost that game. I don't want people to think that Carson lost that game because he didn't have a good game. The receivers didn't play well. There was a lot of issues with the offensive line, and when I looked at the tape, I just looked at it and said they wanted it more than us, bro. Like, and that's something that I don't often say, no matter who we play. I know we've played Bama a lot in the recent years, but this is the first time where I could clearly see like they wanted it more than we did. And that's why they won the game. I mean, that's why they were able to survive, for lack of a better term. So I loved what Kirby said to the boys after the game. I know everybody is loving it as well. It's about, he came into the halftime locker room and said, it's about winning the next moment, and came up one moment short. But how you respond to this is what tells me what type of player you are, what type of man you are more than that. Because going down 77-30 in the first half, at Bryant-Denny Stadium, a huge stadium, by the way, if you've never been there, crowd against you, everything else against you, to respond like that, I think we take that momentum into this week. And like I was saying on Saturday night in our spaces, we appreciate everybody for joining. We'll definitely be doing one next week for the big games. I would hate to be an Auburn Tiger today. That's all I'm gonna say. So we're gonna get into that matchup. Anything else over week 5 that you wanted to talk about that surprised you?
Ole Miss. I
Yeah.
mean, frauds. I don't know. You can't lose a 17-point favorites at home if you're trying to get serious consideration as one of the upper echelon teams in the SEC. Like
Mhm.
Kentucky's a really good defense, and the fact that they could do that against an Ole Miss offense, it just Jackson Dart was not on it. It was a sleepy game. It looked like they just thought they were going to roll out or come out and think they were going to roll, and that's just not going to happen in the SEC. You have to bring it every single week, and that's proof enough. Like I know Kentucky had a bad game against South Carolina. They did.
Mhm.
Their offensive line got worked by South Carolina's defensive line. But outside of that, they've looked good in their other couple games, especially against the competition that they've played, like holding Georgia to 13 points. Holding Ole Miss to 17 points. Like, they're a good team. But Ole Miss should have found a way to win that game. And you can't just wait for it to finally click. You have to come out ready. You can't just hope that it's finally going to click and then you're going to turn it on. Like in an SEC game, you just have to start with that mindset from the jump, and they didn't. So that was a surprising outcome to me. And I think everyone else was kind of shocked by it. A little bit of chaos going on around the country. We'll see if it happens to any upper echelon, any like serious top level teams. Like I think there's a group of like 5, maybe 6 above everyone else, and then there's some chaos going on underneath that. But if we get any of those like top 6 falling, I'm ready to dub this like a 2007 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like this has been a great season so far. I mean, I think the mid-level, like I know you know, love to watch your Georgias, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, you know, the blue bloods of college football, but these mid-level college football games this year have been incredible. Like last night, we got a stunner with Syracuse and UNLV. I should have took Syracuse on the money line. I knew it. I fucking knew it. But it's just been great. It's been a great season, even though it might not be the most talent that we saw. It doesn't compare maybe to the last 2 years in terms of talent. I think it's been a fantastic season. So we'll get into the Rebs. You know, my surprise, I guess, of the week that's not been talked about as much. Colorado Buffaloes are 4-1, man. I mean, they were a 14-point dog last week and
Hell
came
of a
out
win.
there.
Yeah, hell of a win for
Whooped
them.
their ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of saw what happened with mobile quarterback in week 1 against North Dakota State. Figured maybe they something like that would kind of happen again, where it's a little bit more back and forth, and Shedeur has to play out of his mind. But trenches look good. So yeah, I agree. That was a hell of a win for them. Good momentum on the season. They don't have the toughest schedule. Like if those trenches show up every week, they could very easily be in Big 12 conversations by the end of the year. So yeah,
For
a
sure.
hell of a win for them. Keep it moving.
Yeah, now that Utah's lost, I think they got a possibility. I mean, we already know we've banned Utah. We did that last week, so you won't be hearing any Utah talk. I think they
Cam
got a bye
Rising's never
week
playing
anyway.
football again. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I don't know if he's even a real person anymore. So we'll see. But we'll go ahead and get on to the show. It'll be a pretty quick one since we got a lighter slate this week. We'll start with the Noles. All right. They're going into Clemson, another back-to-back night games in Death Valley. Which, you know, it's pretty favorable for Clemson. We thought Clemson was dead in the water to begin the season. We understand that, you know, Georgia is hard to play. Anybody in the country. You just saw Alabama have a tough second half and almost lose the game against Georgia. So we'll put that game to the side. They've been great since then. But they have an easier opponent than we may have thought. I think this line, Sam, preseason was like at 3 towards Florida State, even on the road. And now you see they're a 16-point dog. DJU. Oh man. That guy is oof. That's all I can say. So he's hurt apparently. He's got a broken finger. Even though he threw 3 interceptions in the game, I think this move was probably coming. So now we are introduced to Brock Glenn.
Reintroduced.
Well, reintroduced. Yeah, let me say that. Well, a lot of people don't know about Brock Glenn. I don't think he's well known, you know, Florida State's backup quarterback. He thought maybe he was going to get the job. I know he played last year. He's only completing 34% of his passes for his career, but he's a mobile guy, and that gives you something that, you know, DJ lacked. I mean, he's just slow, man. I don't know. I don't get it. But we got Clemson again hosting Florida State. So, Sam, how are you feeling about this one? What are you looking at in terms of angles?
Clemson, big. Big. I mean, SMU put up 40 points. I understand there was a defensive touchdown in at the end, but still, like, that game wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
wasn't close. And
Nope.
Clemson is rolling right now. The offense looks great. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Florida State has for these guys. Like they're about to be one and what, five?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
1-5 on the year, and their only win is a single digit win against Cal. So yeah, Clemson big. I would not be scared of the number here. I'd take it up to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try to ladder it a little bit, sprinkle it on some of those alt lines. But yeah, Florida State, they feel dead in the water. Like there's just the culture's not there. It's like we've talked about this overtime, or we've talked about this over the season, like just hitting on the culture, how hard it is to establish whenever you're just rebuilding through the transfer portal every year.
Right.
Um, so it's hard to carry that over from year to year, especially whenever they lost as much, when Florida State lost as much as they did. So, yeah, I'd take Clemson big here. I wouldn't be afraid of the number. I don't know what the total's at, but I mean, Clemson's offense has been absolutely rolling, and I could see them putting up maybe 45 to 52 points, like somewhere in there. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
I yeah, give me Clemson, give me them big.
Yeah, the total's at 46.5. And I agree with you. I think Clemson could be in the territory of covering this by themselves. As long as Florida State gets a field goal or maybe even 10 points, I think 37 plus is very in the capabilities of this Clemson offense. And like our guy Rory said, this is a revenge game from last year. They lost in OT. Um, they obviously see a wounded dog and they get him, in the best possible situation that they could, a night game in front of their fans. I think they roll as well. This 16, it's been pretty much 14 all week. It's up to 17 now. So if you want to get on Clemson, I would get on them fast because I think this number probably, I mean, the game's at 7. I think this number can get up to 20. Like, I just don't think that Florida State is going to have any answers. And I know we bag DJ a lot and, his lack of, awareness, his turnovers, whatever. But the defense, again, has been terrible. They have been so bad.
I mean,
So
and again, I like the change in style of the offense. Like, sure, Glenn's a little bit more mobile, but these receivers already can't catch whenever it hits them, and now you got a guy
right.
that's completing 34% for his career.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes!
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal, Florida State fans. So more trouble in paradise for y'all. But I
Rest in
mean,
piss. I don't care.
yeah, y'all be all right. Don't worry about it. Y'all be all right. So we're done with that one. I mean, we just did that as a formality because of the slate. Okay. So Clemson big.
It's tough to find games this week.
Yeah, it was. It was. But we got another good one, or an interesting one. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it'll be interesting. So we have the Tennessee Volunteers coming off of a bye week, going in to Woo Pig Suey, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Arkansas is probably the most chaotic football team that you could ever watch. Again, I went full sicko mode and watched that Auburn and Arkansas game from start to finish. It was absolutely just insanity, the whole game. Taylor Green is just, I wouldn't bet on him ever again. I bet on him for that Auburn game to get his passing yards, but I mean, he threw a pick 6 in the Oklahoma State game. He was very erratic. I think he threw 3 in the Auburn game. So he's just a hard guy to bet on just because, again, the variance is so up and down. But they kept that game close against Texas A&M last week. So they got Tennessee coming in. A 14-point favorite are the Vols. How are you feeling about this one? Because this might be another roll spot.
Yeah, Tennessee. I just think they're one of those teams in the upper echelon, like top 6 of college football right now. Defense is legit, and I'm not really. I didn't watch the A&M game too closely last week, but I feel like Tennessee's just going to be able to do whatever they want on offense, and this defense is going to definitely force some turnovers from Green. So I don't know that Arkansas can keep up, especially against this defense on Tennessee. Like it's one of the top 3, I think, in the SEC.
Yeah, Exactly. And, like we said, with Josh Heupel's passing offense, having those wide splits, it's difficult to defend. And I do not trust Arkansas secondary for one single solitary moment. They've been really good against the run. They're top 25 against the run, actually, in opponent rush yards per game. So I think they have a chance. But I think we see Nico air it out. I think Josh is very aware of Nico's stock. Chuck, you're crazy. But I think this gets into
Worry about your own team, Chuck.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna talk about him soon. Don't worry. Don't you worry, Chuck. I think this gets into roll territory as well. I took as an official play Tennessee minus 13.5. If you're gonna give me a football number with this good of a defense, an offense that's gonna be able to score points, I don't know how you don't take it. I'm looking at Arkansas's team total. It's at 21.5. I know it's minus 130, but
What?
I mean, I that's what the books are saying. Like, I don't know if they score 3 touchdowns, period. If they do, they ain't scoring no more than 3 touchdowns.
The line stinks to high hell, but yeah, I'm biting the cheese. Like, giving Tennessee 14.5 or 13.5 is an official play for me.
Yeah, and I mean,
Owning
Arkansas.
Dude, what in the hell are we talking about? Like, when is the last time Tennessee played Arkansas? Like, what?
Let me look at
the
that.
skill level is not even close to where it was probably the last time they played.
That we love. You know what, Chuck? I appreciate you, brother. All right, because you're the heel that this show needs. All right, you are the guy who everybody's going to tune in and say, "What the hell is this dude talking about?" All right, I appreciate you, Chuck. Every good show needs a heel. I'm trying to look up this all-time matchup too, because I don't even remember. So, let's see. All right, Tennessee owns the all-time record 13-6. They played 19 times total. Last game was 2020, and they lost. They did lose. But who was Tennessee's head coach in 2020? Was that still that one guy?
Butch?
Still that one guy? No, it wasn't Butch. That wasn't Pruitt.
No, it was
it Butch? Was it Pruitt? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think that was Pruitt year. So if you know what the state of the program was when Jeremy Pruitt was there,
what are we talking about? The last 3 matchups are 2020, 2015, and 2011. Like,
yeah, come on,
you're
man.
comparing those?
Yeah, come on, bro.
Those teams to this Tennessee team? Come on, Chuck. Like,
get
out of your ass, man.
Yeah, this is due. And Oklahoma doesn't have an offense.
No, they wouldn't.
They don't. That's why we told you don't pick them, because they don't have an offense. We told you.
If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like, what are we talking about?
Hey, look, if I had $1 million, I'd be married to Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're fifth, come on now.
Like,
yeah, come on. So, I got this as a Tennessee roll spot. I got them officially minus 13.5 as an official play. Sam, I'm pretty sure you're rolling with that as well.
Yes.
I wanted to take Nico's passing yards, but he hasn't hit over 243 all season. Even in a 71-0 win, he didn't even hit this number. So I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just take the Vols to win this game big. So we'll see what happens. But we'll keep it pushing. Now Chuck can talk. Okay. Missouri is going into A&M. Missouri has been in that Arkansas territory of, let me not say that, because we actually had expectations of Missouri. We thought maybe they could sneak around in that 3 to 4 spot in the SEC. I think they had a favorable schedule if you look at their out of conference opponents. I thought, what they were coming in with, a lot of the major pieces from last year's team or the last 2 years' teams still being there, which is big. But Brady Cook, he ain't been what he was last year. They're not. We bet on Luther last week. They didn't get him the ball enough. He didn't hit his number. This is just the Mizzou team that is not reaching expectations. That's what I'll say. So they're going into Texas A&M. Kyle Field. This is a noon kick Eastern. Obviously, a lot of news around Connor Wegman and Marcel and who's going to be the starter. I think Connor, I think Connor could have came back either last week or the week before, if we're going to be honest. So I think Marcel gives them a better shot of winning games because of how dynamic he is. I don't think this offense is anything special, really. They have, a good run game. Again, I'm higher on the offensive line maybe than most people. Defensive line is obviously has NFL talent. So when you're looking at this one, Sam, can Mizzou pull off the upset? Because I've seen everybody and their mama on Mizzou this week.
Yeah, I need to see it from him, man. It's been ugly. Like you just said, they're struggling to get Luther the ball. Like, this guy's going to be a top 15 pick in the draft next year, maybe wide receiver one if he can get over T-Mac. But I don't know, man. Like 19 catches, 250 yards on the year, 4 games in. That's an ugly stat line. Like, you got to find a way to get your best player the ball in space. I did see, I don't know if you saw this, but when Mizzou got to the team hotel, William Lee from Texas A&M, this is elite trash talk. Like, send him a blanket and a signed picture. There we go. I mean,
there we go.
Incredible trash talk all time. Like, this is one of the best moves I've ever seen. Like, get like
used to this blanket. It will be real tomorrow.
I mean, that's elite. That's elite. You can't hate on that.
Hold on, Sam. Why didn't they send it to Luther though? Why didn't they send it to Luther? You gonna trash talk to the wide receiver too? Why don't you send it to 3?
That's a fair point. Yeah, you got to send. You got to send it to number 1.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm on Mizzou as well. I believe in Mizzou. I think they're a really good team. I'm a little bit worried about. You saw in Boston College in the Boston College matchup, like the running game with the quarterback was an issue for them, and Boston College was able to extend drives and keep the team on the field, converting third downs. Mizzou's going to have to find a way to stop that, especially with Allen playing. I agree with you. I think he does give them a little bit more offensively, and Wegman, he's just not it. I think I like Mizzou. I'm taking them on the money line plus 114. I think they are the better team. I think if this was at night, it might be a little bit more hairy situation, but you got a sleepy 11 a.m. kickoff. I'm sure those lunatics in College Station are still going to be fired up, but
weirdos, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a weird back and forth game. But Missouri, I trust their quarterback a little bit more than I do Texas A&M. So yeah, give me Missouri, give me the money line. That's an official play.
Okay, for sure. We're on opposite ends of this one, brother, and I love it. I took the points
for me.
Yeah, no, but it's okay. I'm oddly good at picking Texas A&M games, which is really weird. I think I'm maybe undefeated picking Texas A&M in the history of the show. There was 2 years ago when all of y'all were like, "What the hell are you talking about? How are you going to pick Texas A&M against Arkansas?" And that crazy play where the fumble hit off the guy's back and they took it for 6. That was that year, okay? And I picked A&M. I just said Jimbo was going to find a way to win. I don't know how. And I think this is a similar situation. I think although Missouri, I love, again, the talent that they have on the team. I think we say this every single year on this show. This is the territory where you are who you are as a football team. I don't think you're going to change much over the course of, these next couple of weeks until the end of the season. And I give the edge to Texas A&M because they have the defense. I think what each team does well, the other side can take advantage of, right? Texas A&M having a mobile quarterback, Mizzou's defense struggling against that. And then on the other side of the ball, Texas A&M's passing defense isn't the greatest. I don't love their corners, which is why that post that we just showed was so brazen. And the receivers that Mizzou has, they're probably going to have a good day. But that defensive line, I think, is what cuts everything in half. I think, at Texas A&M's defensive line has been great this year. I think they show up this week as well. I know Mizzou has been able to run the ball. Like, we got Nate Noel at 82.5 rushing yards in this game. Like, I wouldn't take that, but you can see why. So give me the Aggies, man. Give me the Aggies -2.5. I think, like you said, this is a close game. I don't think either team gets blown out, but I think A&M does just enough to get over the hump. So, and like Chuck says, if they can't stretch the field with these receivers as good as they are, that's when they run into problems. And he was able to do that last year, and he's just not able to do it this year, which is weird. And I get, why you're saying that, Chuck. You're obviously a fan. I understand, but I just think that defensive line
Chuck just should have been on the show
pushing
at
up.
this point.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Chuck, if you're free, I'll send you the link. How about that? We got one more game to go. I'll send you the link. Hit me in my DMs. All right. We want to see what you're talking about today. I don't know if he's I know he works at night, so I don't know if he's up, but Chuck is crazy, man. Oh yeah, no, when he's up, I don't know if he's looking on his phone, like texting like this, like just listening. That's probably what he's doing.
Up, but I don't know if he's camera ready.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. But Brady Cook, 19.5 rush yards, -108. I'll take that. I think he's going to be in heat.
I don't know.
I think he can do enough.
I feel like the college rules are going to fuck you there with the sack yardage taken out rushing.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, I'm nervous.
It's so stupid. I hate that rule. Like,
bro.
Just get rid of it. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, like I think they do that to spite us gamblers, man, because there's no reason. It doesn't matter, man. Just anyway. So that's it for that one. Anything else you got? Because I'm good. All right. Now we got the big one. I've been seeing this deemed as Cocktober.
It is Cocktober. It's been Cocktober the last couple of years with Beamer.
Pause. We're how do I follow that up? Like we spoke about in the beginning, Ole Miss coming off a bad loss, now having to go on the road, facing their toughest opponent that they faced all year. I think South Carolina coming off a bye. Yeah, I paused it, Chuck. I paused it. Coming off a bye, South Carolina, that defensive line, we were talking about Kentucky's. I think South Carolina's defensive line is just as good, if not better, than Kentucky's defensive line.
They are better. They are better.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think those two defensive ends that they got are going to be playing on Sundays for a fact. And then we got our guy Goggles. He's back this week. He's rested up after his injury, Lenore Sellers. This line is at 9.5. I've been trying to figure it out all week. Sam, you give me your explanation for this because I am genuinely confused.
I have no explanation for it whatsoever. I am on South Carolina plus 8.5. If it's at 9.5, I love it even more. I will be watching this one like a hawk because LSU has gone to South Carolina. LSU plays Ole Miss next week. I love that I don't have to watch another game. I can just sit down and watch this and be as prepared for next week as possible. It's very nice love that Ole Miss is playing South Carolina and Kentucky in back-to-back weeks before they come to Death Valley at night. So yeah, I want to see if Kentucky's defensive front can mess up Lane Kiffin's offense like they did last week. I fully expect South Carolina will be able to do the same. I mean, granted, South Carolina fans are still fucking talking about the refs. 21 days later? Like, it's been 3 weeks. Shut up. Like, please shut up. You had a chance to kick a field goal and you missed it. Like, what are we talking about? Just move on. Move on from yourselves. So, yeah, I do like South Carolina. I think Sellers will be able to hit some plays in the running game. I like South Carolina. They're a feisty team. Clearly, they took us down to the wire. I think them at home is a little bit of a different animal, and I think this defensive front is the best in the SEC. So I will give them the edge here and maybe sprinkle money line.
Okay, all right. I did.
8.5 is official.
Yeah, I got 9.5. I mean, I saw it get to 10 at one point this week. 9.5 is official play to me. I don't know how this line is at this. I mean, look, I understand that maybe South Carolina's DBs aren't the greatest. We saw Nuss have great success throwing the ball. But
But Nuss also
I
has one of the best, if like at least a top 3 pass protecting offensive line.
exactly. And
And
look,
they still gave us fits.
yeah, and those trenches, that's what I was about to say. You had, like we were talking about earlier, those defensive ends from South Carolina are amazing, and they gave 2 first-round NFL picks trouble, like real trouble. So, and that was the main reason why Ole Miss lost last week. It was because their trenches just weren't as good. Even defensively, their trenches weren't
They have the
good.
same issues as last year. Their offensive line isn't good and their DBs aren't good. So I mean,
Yeah,
like Sellers is going to hit some plays. I mean, he's not the best quarterback, but he just needs to hit some plays. Like I
yeah.
think he's perfectly capable of doing that, especially with the threat to run the ball like he does. Like Ashford is a good runner, but what Sellers can do in the passing game is what makes his offense fully go. So, yeah, I agree with you. Like I don't know why this number is so high.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all, but we'll see. So that's official. If you missed it, if you're just joining us, South Carolina plus 9.5 from both me and Sam. All right, now we're done with all of our games that we have on the slate. So please, please, please go ahead and follow Pay for Play. Follow Sam. We're gonna get into best bets soon, but if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. You got to drop down the comment section and hit that thumbs up, please, for us. We're approaching 1,300 followers on the Pay for Play page. If you're watching on that, give us a follow if you're not following. And we'll continue on to our best bets today. So, Sam, I'll let you go first. Down slate. So, I don't know if you have a CVS receipt this week, but how are
No,
you
pretty
feeling?
short. Only have 3 additional plays outside of the ones that I've already given out. I'm gonna go Vandy Bama over 54.5.
Okay.
I think Vandy scores a couple times, and I think Alabama scores 45 to 50 points. So
Sometimes.
I I think this is going over pretty easily. I'm gonna go Indiana, Coach Sig, baby. He wins. Google him.
There we go. Google me. That's what he said. Look, love it.
I'm
Talk your
very
shit,
happy.
coach.
I'm in the heart of Hoosierland.
Right.
My mom is a proud Hoosier alum, so she is so happy to have a competent football team.
Yeah.
Like she's texting. This is the first time my mom has ever texted me about college football. Like she was like, it's so nice having a quarterback and receiver who can like make big plays and like have like complete passes. And I'm like, yeah, it is pretty nice. It's cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think normally I'd say this is a trap game going up to Northwestern. I think especially with their smaller stadium right on the lake, it's gonna produce some weird games this year.
Yeah.
But I just like the way Indiana's playing. I think they're a very sneaky playoff team.
I'm not mad at you.
They're favored in every game that they play the rest of the way. They
Mhm.
have 3 tough games left. They have Nebraska at home, Michigan at home, and they probably lose at Ohio State.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they could be 11-1 at the end of the year. Who
Mhm.
knows? So I like what Sig is doing. Indiana 13.5 official play. They're going into a bye week, so I don't see any trap game or any look ahead spots. So I think they're going to be ready to play and keep this momentum rolling. And then final one, hate bet, UCF money line minus 120. Florida cannot stop the run. They
Right.
cannot stop the run, and
Mhm.
that is all UCF wants to do. So
Mhm.
UCF goes into the swamp and wins this game.
Okay. All
It
right.
is curtains for Sunbelt Bill.
Ooh, yeah, it is. It is.
He has a losing record at home against Power 4 teams.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. Like,
The
especially
swamp
with
is
the
not the
talent.
swamp.
It's not. It's not. I can't lie to you. It's not. No, I just agreed with you. I got the Gators on the money line.
Oh my God.
I got the Gators on the money line. I have no real explanation. But the product that UCF put up last week at the crib
I've never
has
been
a
more
14-point
disappointed on this
favorite.
show.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I just am not confident in this offense to do enough. I know they're going to be able to run all over them, but defensively, they're really bad, man.
Dude, Texas
Like,
A&M's quarterback came in his first start and engineered drives up and down the field on Florida. You don't think KJ is going to do that?
I thought KJ wasn't that good last week either. Well, that's my problem. Like, I don't love
Colorado's a better team
KJ.
than Florida.
Now they are a better team. I think overall, I think in the trenches and with the receiving options, I do. But I think DJ is going to come in. He's going to give them that dynamic feeling as a runner. I think Graham is going to do just enough. I got the Gators, man. I'm sorry, Sam. I just do. This is just one of those feeling bets. Like, I think they're going to win. Now, going forward, this is the last time you will have to hear me say I got the Gators, okay? Don't worry. This is the last time. I promise you. And to answer you, Eddie, Sosa had some things he had to take care of. So he'll be back next week. We'll have a big show next week, by the way. So I got the Gators, but we'll move on from that, Sam. Don't worry about that. We'll move on from that. I'm going to take Brady Cook 19.5. I pray they don't fuck me on that. I pray he doesn't get sacked like 9 times. But, I mean, he is a guy who can scoot, so I think he'll evade some of those situations. Maybe he'll get to 30, and maybe, some of those sacks will bring me back down to the 22, 23 range, I'm hoping. But I do got Brady Cook. I like his rush yards in that game. We were both official on Tennessee minus 13.5. I also have Cade Klubnik in the Florida State Clemson matchup over his rushing yards. He's only not hit this in one game. It was the Georgia game. I think he'll be able to do whatever the hell he wants. I think he'll, maybe bust one for 40 and take it to the cribbo. So I got that. Again, A&M -2 in the Texas A&M and Missouri matchup. Official South Carolina plus 9.5. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I would hate to be an Auburn Tiger. I understand that Smile Munden is not playing, one of our starting middle linebackers. This line has came down from 24 to 21. I don't care. Let me read you the last couple of matchups from the Auburn and Georgia game in Athens, all right? Because if you're looking at the ones in Auburn, you might be inclined to take the 21. But these are the last matchups in Athens. 42-10, 27-6, 27-10, 28-7 in the SEC championship game. All right. So last couple matchups, I understand, some of those results are within the number, but I think you see a Carson Beck who understands, and a coaching staff from Georgia who understands that Carson's stock dropped a lot last week. I don't give a damn what Hugh Freeze says he's going to do with his offense. I do not think Peyton Thorne is a good quarterback. I think they're going to blitz the hell out of him, just like Brent Venables did, and confuse the hell out of him. And, the fact that Auburn's team total is still at 14.5, maybe they get over that, but I think we get to the 35 to 40 range. I really do. And I also have Dillon Bell, wide receiver from Georgia, over 47.5 receiving yards. I think he's the best route runner on the team. He obviously had 100 yards last week in a game where we had to pass a lot, but I think he gets that in the first half. I really do think Dillon currently is the most dynamic receiver on the team, even though I love Dominic. Okay, so that's all the bets. Again, please make sure to give us a follow at Paid for Play. Again, we are reaching 1,300 followers, so we want to get to that mark. Let's try to get to 15 during the season, okay? I promise you I'll have a giveaway if we get to 1,500 followers during the season. So go ahead, make sure you follow at Paid for Play. If you're watching on YouTube, again, please hit that like button. We greatly appreciate the support. Follow Sam at Dumb Brain Picks. We'll be back next week for the big one. We got we got back-to-back big ones next week. So we might have to finally deliver on these guests that we've been promising for the first 5 weeks of this show. But we promise we'll have some guests because, I mean, that Ohio State-Oregon matchup is going to be big. USC is going across the country. Well, no, Penn State is going across the country to face USC. Sam, you got a big matchup next week in Death Valley. So it's going to be a lot of good games that we're going to be tuned into. So please, please, please be sure to catch us next week. And at the end of the day, we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.